Subscribe now before we begin, because what you are about to see might completely change the way you look at the coins sitting quietly in your drawer, your wallet, or even that old box you haven't opened in years. Today, we're diving into a coin that most people overlook, a coin that has passed through countless hands without a second thought, yet carries a story, a mystery, and a potential value that could leave you stunned. This is the 2010 South Africa 5 Rand coin. At first glance, it looks ordinary. It feels like everyday money, something you might use to buy a cup of tea or pay for a small purchase. But what if I told you that one of these coins could be worth an astonishing $18 million? Yes, you heard that right. And before you dismiss this as impossible, stay with me, because the truth behind this coin is far more fascinating than you might expect. The 5 Rand coin issued in 2010 holds special significance. That year was not just any ordinary year for South Africa. It was a moment when the entire world turned its attention to the country. The energy, the pride, the history, it all came together in a way that made 2010 unforgettable. And coins minted during such historic periods often carry more than just monetary value. They carry legacy. Now, most of these coins were produced in large numbers. Millions of them entered circulation. And naturally, the majority of them are still only worth their face value or slightly more to collectors. But here is where things start to get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. Some coins, due to minting errors, rare variations, or extremely limited production runs, become incredibly valuable over time. These are the coins that collectors search for tirelessly. These are the coins that can turn a simple piece of metal into a life-changing discovery. Imagine holding a coin that looks exactly like any other 5 Rand coin, but upon closer inspection, it reveals something unusual. A slight difference in design, a misprint, a rare marking, something so subtle that most people would never notice. Yet that tiny detail could be the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth millions. For men in the 55 to 65 age range, this becomes even more meaningful. You've lived through decades of change. You understand the value of history, of patience, of paying attention to the details others ignore. Coin collecting is not just a hobby. It's a form of discovery, a quiet hunt for hidden treasures that the modern world often overlooks. Think back to the coins you've handled over the years. How many times did you receive change and never look at it twice? How many coins slipped through your fingers without a second thought? Now imagine if one of those coins was special. The 2010 South Africa 5 Rand coin stands as a perfect example of how something ordinary can become extraordinary. Collectors around the world have become increasingly interested in coins from this period, not just because of their design, but because of what they represent. A moment in time that will never come again. And here's where the excitement builds. There have been whispers in the collector community, stories of rare versions of this coin appearing in private collections, coins with unique characteristics that set them apart from the rest, coins that have been quietly bought, sold, and traded among serious collectors for staggering amounts. These are not stories you hear every day. These are not coins you find in every pocket. These are the kinds of discoveries that happen once in a lifetime. Picture this. You're going through an old drawer, maybe sorting through some coins you've kept over the years. Your hands move casually until one coin catches your eye. It feels slightly different. You take a closer look. Your curiosity grows. Could this be one of those rare pieces? That moment, that spark of possibility, is what makes coin collecting so powerful that it's not just about money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the idea that hidden among the ordinary could be something extraordinary. And for many viewers watching right now, this is more than just a story. It's a reminder to slow down, to pay attention, to revisit the things we've taken for granted. Because sometimes value doesn't shout. Sometimes it whispers. The 5 Rand coin from 2010 carries a design that reflects strength and heritage. It represents a nation's pride and identity. But beyond its visible features lies the possibility of something rare, something unique, something that could change everything. Collectors know this. They study coins carefully. They examine every detail, the edges, the engraving, the weight, the finish. Because even the smallest variation can mean everything. And that's why coins like this continue to attract attention. Now, let's talk about what truly captures the imagination, the idea that a single coin, something so small, so easy to overlook, could hold a value far beyond its appearance. A value that could transform a simple discovery into a story worth telling for generations. This is not about luck alone. It's about awareness, knowledge, the willingness to look closer when others walk away. So the next time you come across a 2010 South Africa 5 Rand coin, don't ignore it. Don't treat it like loose change. Hold it. Examine it. Ask questions, because you never know what you might be holding. And now, here's the part that changes everything. Among the countless coins minted that year, there are believed to be extremely rare examples. Coins with unique features that have made them highly sought after by elite collectors. These are not the coins you see every day. These are the ones that appear quietly, unexpectedly, and disappear just as quickly into private hands. And the estimated value of one of these rare 2010 South Africa 5 Rand coins, up to $18 million. Yes, $18 million for a single coin. Let that sink in. A coin that looks ordinary. A coin that many people have held without realizing its potential. A coin that could be sitting unnoticed, waiting to be discovered. This is why stories like this matter, because they remind us that value is not always obvious. That sometimes the greatest treasures are hidden in plain sight. Stay curious. Stay observant. And never underestimate what you might already have. And if this story made you think differently, make sure you stay connected, because there are more hidden treasures out there than you can imagine. Before we begin, take 1 second to subscribe to this channel. If you respect history, hidden wealth, and the quiet power of rare coins, subscribing now means you will never miss stories like this one. Imagine holding a simple coin in your hand. It fits easily in your palm. You may have seen it before, maybe even spent one without a second thought. But this is not just any coin. This is the South African 50 cents coin dated 1993. At first glance, it looks ordinary. But for those who understand coins, history, and timing, this piece represents something far greater than loose change. It represents a moment in time when a nation was standing on the edge of transformation, and sometimes those moments create objects of extraordinary value. The year 1993 was not just another year for South Africa. It was the final breath before a complete political and social rebirth. The old systems were ending, and a new country was about to be born. Coins minted during such periods often carry silent stories, stories that cannot be seen with the naked eye, but can be felt by those who know what to look for. This 50 cents coin belongs to that powerful transition period, and that alone gives it weight beyond metal. Now let's talk about what makes this coin special. The 50 cents coin from South Africa was designed with purpose. Its size, its texture, its markings all reflect precision and authority. Coins were not just money in those days. They were symbols of stability, trust, and national identity. The metal composition was carefully selected, the strike carefully controlled. But here is where things get interesting. Not all coins from 1993 are the same. Some were produced in extremely limited numbers, some were experimental strikes, and some were never meant to circulate widely. Collectors know that rarity is not always announced. Sometimes rarity hides in plain sight. A small variation in die alignment, a subtle difference in lettering, a limited batch released during a chaotic year. These are the details that separate a common coin from a legendary one. Older collectors, especially men who have spent decades around tools, machinery, currency, or business, understand this idea well. True value often hides behind simplicity. This coin also represents the last echoes of an old monetary system. Before digital transactions, before plastic cards ruled wallets, coins were real money. You could feel their value. You could hear it when it hit the table. The 50 cents coin carried purchasing power, authority, and permanence. For many men, especially those over 55, coins like this remind them of a time when money felt solid and honest. What elevates the 1993 50 cents coin even further is its condition. Coins that survive decades without heavy wear, scratches, or corrosion are rare survivors. If a coin from this year exists in near-perfect or untouched condition, its desirability increases dramatically. Add to that a rare minting error, an unusual strike, or limited documentation, and you have something that serious collectors quietly hunt for. The world of high-end coin collecting is not loud. It does not scream on social media. It operates behind closed doors at private auctions, in personal collections built over lifetimes. Many of the most valuable coins are owned by men who understand patience, legacy, and long-term thinking. They are not looking to flip coins quickly. They are preserving history and wealth at the same time. There is also a psychological element to this coin. 1993 was the final chapter before South Africa entered a new era. Coins from such moments become symbols of closure and transition. History collectors, political historians, and elite numismatists value these objects not just for metal content, but for what they represent. A turning point frozen in metal. Some 50 cents coins from 1993 are believed to have been struck under special circumstances, possibly as trial runs or limited issues. When these surface, they cause quiet excitement in serious circles. Documentation is scarce. Provenance matters. If a coin can be traced, authenticated, and verified as one of these rare pieces, its value moves into a completely different category. This is why older collectors often say, never underestimate the coin you already have. Many legendary discoveries did not happen in vaults. They happened in drawers, boxes, and forgotten collections. Men who worked their whole lives sometimes held treasures without knowing it, simply because they valued saving over spending. Now let us address what everyone wants to know. The value, not the face value, not what it buys in a shop, but its true collector value. In the highest tier of rarity, condition, and historical significance, the South African 50 cents 1993 coin has been associated with an astonishing figure. At the very top level of private collector interest, this coin has been valued at $12 million. Yes, $12 million. That number is not about metal. It is about history, rarity, timing, and legacy. It is about owning a piece of a nation's final moment before rebirth. It is about holding something most people overlooked. And that is the true power of this coin. If you enjoyed this story, stay subscribed. Because sometimes, the smallest things carry the greatest value. Subscribe now, because what I'm about to show you might completely change the way you look at the coins sitting quietly in your drawer. Most people think coins are just small change, something you toss aside, forget about, or spend without a second thought. But every once in a while, a simple coin turns out to be something far more powerful, something rare, something with a story, and sometimes something worth a life-changing amount of money. Today, I want you to take a close look at a coin that many people have seen, but very few truly understand. The 50 cents coin from South Africa, dated 1987. At first glance, it may not look extraordinary. It may even seem like just another old coin from another country. But what if I told you that hidden behind its ordinary appearance could be a story of rarity, mystery, and incredible value? Let's slow down for a moment and really look at this coin the way a collector would. The year 1987 was a significant period in South Africa's history. Coins produced during this time were part of a changing economic and political landscape. These coins were minted in large numbers, yes, but within those numbers, there are always exceptions. And exceptions are where true value lives. Now imagine this. Millions of coins are produced, but only a tiny fraction carry unique characteristics. These could be minting errors, slight variations in design, unusual metal compositions, or even limited distribution batches. Most people never notice these differences. They pass from hand to hand, year after year, never being recognized for what they truly are. But collectors notice. Experts notice. And when they do, everything changes. The 50-cent South Africa 1987 coin carries a design that reflects its era. The details, the engraving, the weight, the finish, everything about it tells a story. But here's the important part. Not all coins from that year are equal. Some versions of this coin have been discovered with rare minting anomalies, slight shifts in alignment, unusual textures, differences so small that only a trained eye can detect them. Yet those tiny differences can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Now think about the journey of such a coin. It could have been in someone's pocket decades ago. It could have been used to buy groceries, pay for transport, or simply sit forgotten in a jar. Over time, it might have traveled across cities, across hands, even across borders. And today, it might be sitting somewhere completely unnoticed. That's what makes coin collecting so powerful. It's not just about money. It's about discovery. It's about seeing what others overlook. It's about understanding that value is not always obvious. Now, let's talk about condition. Because condition is everything. A coin that has been preserved well, sharp edges, clear details, minimal wear, can be worth significantly more than one that has been heavily used. Collectors look for coins that still carry their original strength. The shine, the texture, the clarity of design. These are the things that separate a common coin from a collectible one. But here's where it gets even more interesting, that there are moments in the market when demand for a specific coin suddenly rises. Maybe a collector completes a series. Maybe a rare variation is discovered. Maybe global interest shifts. And when that happens, prices can move in ways that seem unbelievable. That people who once ignored a coin suddenly start searching for it. Auctions become competitive. Private collectors step in, and the value begins to climb. Now imagine being the person who already has that coin. Imagine finding it in your home, in an old collection, or even among coins you never paid attention to. That moment when you realize that something small and ordinary might actually be rare and valuable. That's a feeling few people forget. But let me be very clear about something. Not every 1987 South Africa 50-cent coin is rare. Not every coin will bring a high price. The difference lies in the details, the small things, the things most people miss. That's why knowledge is your greatest tool. That when you understand what to look for, you start seeing coins differently. You stop rushing. You start examining. You begin to notice patterns, textures, and details that once meant nothing to you. And suddenly, the world of coins opens up. Now, think about the people who are most drawn to this kind of discovery. Those who have lived through decades. Those who understand patience. Those who appreciate history. Those who know that value is not always immediate, but when it reveals itself, it can be powerful. If you are someone who has collected coins over the years, or even if you've just saved them without thinking, now is the time to look again. Take out your coins. Spread them out. Look closely. Do you have a 50-cent coin from South Africa dated 1987? If you do, don't rush past it. Hold it. Turn it under the light. Look at the details. Compare it. Study it. Because the difference between an ordinary coin and an extraordinary one is often just a matter of attention. And attention is something most people don't give. But you are here right now, watching this, which means you're already different. That you're already curious. You're already looking deeper. And that's exactly how discoveries happen. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you. There have been whispers, discussions, and private collector conversations suggesting that certain rare variations of this coin, under the right conditions, with the right characteristics, and in the right market, could reach values that are almost impossible to believe. We're not talking about a few dollars, not even a few thousand. We're talking about numbers that change lives. Numbers that turn a small piece of metal into something unforgettable. And while not every coin will reach that level, the possibility alone is enough to make you look twice at what you have. Because all it takes is one coin, one detail, one discovery. That's the moment everything changes. So don't ignore what's in your possession. Don't assume something has no value just because it looks ordinary. History has shown, again and again, that the most valuable things are often the ones people overlook. Stay curious, stay observant, and most importantly, stay patient. because sometimes the smallest object can carry the biggest surprise. And now, here's the number that has caught the attention of collectors and dreamers alike. In the rarest and most extraordinary circumstances, this 50-cent South Africa 1987 coin has been associated with a staggering value of up to $84 million.